I'll show two ways to cut bicycle cable housing and cables without cable cutters. There are two types of housings: shifter, which has strands of wires that run in parallel with the inner cable. Because brake cable housing needs more strength, it has a coiled metal housing. Both types of housings have an inner plastic sleeve. The tool that you may already own, and I think makes a nice cut, is a Dremel with a cutting wheel. You can buy a set like this for a little more money than what you'd pay for a cable cutting tool, and you'll be able to use this for other purposes. I'll use this type of cutting wheel. I'll cut some brake cable housing first. I'm standing out of the way so that you can see the cutting. What you'd want to do is bend the cable a little bit to keep it out of the way of the tool so you can get a square cut. You'll have to experiment with the cutting speed a little bit. If it's too fast, it'll melt the plastic housings. On this Dremel 3000, I have the speed set at the number 6 position, and that seems to work out good with this type of housing. And now I'll cut a piece of shifter housing. If the brake housing cut isn't totally square and flat, just run a file over it. Then you can just open up the liner. The inner cable can be cut with the Dremel also. However, you have to put a piece of tape around the cut, otherwise it'll fray out. This $10 not-so-sharp pair of diagonal cutters can cut through the brake housing pretty easily. They cut inner cable without too much trouble. Cutting shifter housing is a little more challenging. I have a pair of wire strippers, and I'll use those to cut the outer housing. There you can see that I've scored the black housing. If you don't have a pair of strippers, you could do this with a utility knife or a razor blade. Slide a piece of inner cable inside. I'm using a brake cable rather than a shifter cable because it has a little larger diameter. Use a piece of cable to push the cut-off piece of cable out. There's two ways to cut bicycle cable housing without housing cutters. I hope you found this video helpful. A thumbs up is always appreciated. Click on the channel name, Know How Now, to find other videos. And thanks for watching.